My name is Amelia, and if you only knew the weight of the secret I carry, you would understand why every word I'm about to say burns like fire in my chest. I wasn't ready for what he did that night, but I let him continue, and that choice changed everything I thought I knew about myself, my marriage, and my heart. It all began on an ordinary evening that should have passed like countless others. My husband, Daniel, was away on a business trip, and the silence in our home wrapped around me like a suffocating blanket. I sat by the window, the cool glass pressing against my cheek as rain drizzled outside, tapping softly like whispers I could almost hear. I was restless, lonely, and craving something I couldn't quite name, something I had buried beneath routines, responsibilities, and vows. That's when he came into my life with the intensity of a storm I never saw coming. Ethan, my husband's childhood friend. He had stopped by to drop off some documents Daniel had forgotten, a simple errand that should have lasted no more than a few minutes. But fate rarely works the way we expect. When I opened the door and saw him standing there, tall, confident, with rain dripping down his dark hair and his eyes carrying that same fire they had years ago when I first met him, I felt my breath hitch in my throat. It was as if time itself paused, trapping me in that gaze. I told myself to look away, to focus on the polite smile, the casual words, the envelope he held in his hand. But my body betrayed me. My heart raced, my skin tingled, and a dangerous warmth spread through me. We sat in the living room, and what should have been a brief exchange turned into an hour-long conversation. He asked how I'd been, and when I tried to answer, the truth spilled out before I could stop it. I told him about the loneliness, about the silence in this house when Daniel was away, about how sometimes I felt like I was disappearing into the shadows of my own life. Ethan didn't judge me. He just listened, leaning closer, his presence heavy and comforting all at once. And then it happened. His hand brushed against mine as he reached for the glass of water on the table. Such a small, accidental gesture. But the spark it sent racing through me was undeniable. I gasped, not because it hurt, but because it awakened something buried, so deep I thought it was long dead. I looked into his eyes, and in that moment, I saw everything I wasn't ready to confront. Desire, longing, the forbidden temptation of a man who wasn't mine. My lips parted, words trembling on the edge, but nothing came out. And then Ethan leaned closer, his voice barely a whisper. "Amelia, you don't have to pretend with me." I wasn't ready for what he did next. He reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, his fingers brushing against my cheek with such tenderness that my entire body shivered. I should have pulled away. I should have stopped him, reminded him, and myself, that I was married, that this was wrong. But instead, I closed my eyes and leaned into his touch. That choice sealed my fate. The first kiss came slowly, hesitantly, like testing the waters of a forbidden sea. But the moment our lips touched, hesitation dissolved into hunger. My pulse raced, my hands trembled, but I didn't stop him. I let it continue. His arms wrapped around me, pulling me closer, erasing the space between us until nothing existed except the fire of our bodies, the pounding of my heart, and the desperate truth I had been denying. We stumbled toward the couch, his breath warm against my neck, my fingers tangled in his shirt. Every part of me screamed that I wasn't ready for this, that it was too much, too fast, too dangerous. But every part of me also ached for it, craved it, needed it more than air. For the first time in years, I felt alive, seen, desired, consumed by a passion I had thought was gone forever. Hours melted into each other, and when the storm outside finally subsided, I found myself lying in his arms, staring at the ceiling as guilt and ecstasy battled inside me. The rain had stopped, but inside, the storm was only beginning. The days that followed blurred into a dangerous dance of secrecy and desire. Ethan and I found excuses to meet, coffee at a hidden cafe, long walks in the park where no one knew us, late-night phone calls whispered under the covers while Daniel slept beside me. Each moment was a thread in a web I knew I couldn't escape from. Each time I told myself it would be the last, and each time I let it happen again. I wasn't ready for the way he made me laugh, the way he looked at me like I was the only woman in the world, the way his touch made me forget every vow I had ever spoken. And yet, I let it continue. I let it grow until it became the air I breathed, the fire that consumed me, the secret that defined me. But secrets have a way of finding the light. One evening, Daniel came home early. I was in the kitchen, and my phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. Just a single line. "I miss you already." Daniel picked it up before I could reach it. The look in his eyes when he read those words still haunts me. Shock, confusion, and then betrayal. He didn't yell. He didn't throw things or storm out. Instead, he looked at me with such quiet devastation that it shattered something inside me. "Amelia," he whispered, "is there something you need to tell me?" Tears filled my eyes, but no words came, because the truth was already there, hanging between us like a blade. The nights after that were filled with silence. Daniel slept on the edge of the bed, his back turned to me, while I lay awake, drowning in guilt. Ethan called, begged to see me, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. The fire that had once consumed me now burned like poison in my veins. I wanted to undo it, to turn back time, to erase every choice I had made. But life doesn't give us do-overs. It only gives us consequences. Now, months later, I sit here with my hands trembling as I tell you this story. I wasn't ready for what Ethan did that night, but I let him continue. And that decision changed everything. My marriage is cracked, my heart is torn, and my soul feels heavier than ever before. Sometimes I wonder, was it worth it? The passion, the fire, the fleeting moments of feeling alive? Or did I trade everything that mattered for a desire I couldn't control? My name is Amelia, and this is my truth. I wasn't ready, but I let it happen. What would you have done if you were me?